As we saw with the mall problem, in order to multiply matrices, there's certain rules that we have to follow. The first one is we look at the dimensions. So for this first example, this is a 2 by 3 matrix, and then we want to see if we can multiply it by a 3 by 2. The only rule is these middle terms have to be the same number. Since they are both a 3, we can multiply, and our resulting matrix are dimensions of what's on the outside. So our answer is going to be a 2 by 2, and that's why you could look, and there's actually going to be 4 spots there for a 2 by 2 when we multiply. The other thing we follow when you multiply is, the way I like to describe it is, you kind of take this whole row and flip it over on its side to match up with the column that you're multiplying by. So if I do that, you're taking that 3's dropping down to the bottom there, the 2's the next one, and the 1 is there. You multiply with that column, and then you add each of the terms. So you're doing 1 times 7 plus 2 times 9 plus 3 times 11. So 7 plus 18 plus 33 should add up to be 58. And the reason why we know the answer goes there is, if you look, we took row 1 and column 1. That's what we multiplied together, so it gave us the answer for row 1, column 1 in the new one. Let's try it with one of the different columns. So if we're looking at row 1, column 2, it's going to give us an answer for row 1, column 2. And when this kind of gets flipped over on its side, the 3 matches up with that one, the 2 matches up with that one, and the 1 matches up with that. So 1 times 8 plus 2 times 10 plus 3 times 12 should give you the 64. When you do it all together with the other 2 remaining spots, the work is shown right here on what you should be matching up. When that gets flipped over on its side, the 4 and the 5 and the 6 match up with that. And then just to change the color, the 4, the 5, and the 6 get matched up with there. And that's why that one's shown in the green and this one's shown in the blue to get this one and that one. Another way to think about it is if we just go in general with these variables. So if I were to take, well, let's first look. This is a 2 by 2. This is a 2 by 2. The middles do match up. So our answer should be what's on the outside, the 2 by 2. And that's what we have. 1, 2, 3, and the 4, a 2 by 2. When you flip this over on its side, the A matches up there and the B matches up there. So you're multiplying those 2 together, but then adding those answers. And that's what this is saying. A times E plus B times G. That goes for each of those different rows and columns. So that's another way to maybe help you visualize what you're doing. These are just asking, what is the resultant matrix dimension going to be if you multiply them together? So for example, we have a 2 by 3 and a 3 by 5. Those 3's match up in the middle, So you can multiply. So your resulting answer would be a 2 by 5. Go ahead and take a look at B and C if they're possible, and pause me for a second and I will leave the answer. So on B, those middle ones do match up, so you should be getting a 4 by 1. And then for C, those don't match up. You have a 2 and a 3. The outsides match up, but not the insides, so that's not possible. Looking at these last 3 examples, go ahead and pause it. See if you can multiply those together, and then I will give you those answers in a second. With the first one, because this is a 1 by 2 and the second one is a 3 by 2, those don't match up. That's not possible. With this one, you have a 2 by 3 and a 3 by 1. The middles do match up, so the answer should be a 2 by 1. And when you do that, you should get 34 and -2. With C, you have a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2. The middles match up, so your resulting matrix will be a 2 by 2, and that turns out to be 18, -31, 38, -67. If you made any mistakes on those, go back and double check. Otherwise, ask me a question in the Zoom.